This is the Circle of Honor, as I call it, and this is what will always be remembered by me. And I'll always remember when I drive by the people that were here, and just that morning itself was everything I hoped it would be.
This is a really beautiful thing that he has spearheaded here today with the refurbishing of over 100 tombstones, and I think it's just an amazing tribute to his personality, his commitment, his dedication, and all of you who are here, and particularly the Veterans Memorial Committee, who just most recently, within the last year, through their due diligence, hard work, and persistence, were able to get the Naval Cross for our Most Reverend Thomas Conway. That was an amazing feat, that just doesn't happen, and it happened right here in Waterbury, the most patriotic city in the country. So I'm really honored to be here. I'm a little long-winded, I apologize, but at the end of the day, this is really a passionate subject for me. I did not serve in the military. I was one of those lucky ones that by the time I graduated from high school, those conflicts were over. But I have certainly, my father served, my brother served, a lot of our family served, and so it's near and dear to me. And Mike's right, whenever he does take on an initiative, I always am willing to do and give whatever resources are necessary to support whatever cause that he believes in, because he is the ultimate believer. So thank you all, God bless you all, and I'm honored to be here with all of you this morning. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Wow. Now, our next speaker, I'm very proud to announce this gentleman, the Commissioner of Veterans Affairs for the state of Connecticut, Mr. Saudi. Commissioner Saudi, come on up. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure. Mr. Dalton, Mayor O'Leary, honorable legislators, elected officials, veterans, and Gold Star family members. It's an honor to be here, and Mr. Dalton, I salute your service to our country in Vietnam and your continued service to our living and fallen veterans. Because just as we serve our living veterans and care for them, we must always honor the fallen, whether they fell in combat or after they returned home from visible or invisible wounds of war, or after a very long and healthy life. Well, I am truly honored to be able to serve our veterans, to stand with you here today as we memorialize veterans that go back to the Civil War, the stones behind us and around the cemetery, and the great service that the city of Waterbury does, your elected officials, your volunteer veterans leaders, Mr. Dorr and Mr. Shea, and all of those here. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure and honor to be here this morning at this event and to see all of you here on such a beautiful Sunday morning, that you've made the time to come and participate in this, to remember those who made the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice. We have our Gold Star families with us today, who are the living embodiment of the sacrifice that continues to be made by the families of folks like these who are here. And it's great that we do that to remember why we're here and why we're all able to get together like this. But I want to acknowledge the Veterans Committee and all those who did the work, but especially Mike Dalton. As the mayor alluded to earlier, Mike is a Vietnam veteran, and he fought in some of the toughest battles that occurred in Vietnam. The one that really impresses me is that he was involved in the Battle of Hue. So if you know about Hue, you know how remarkable that is. And if you don't know about it, you should go read a little bit about it, because you'll come away quite impressed with the tenacity and the resiliency of American soldiers in very difficult and unfavorable conditions and how they pulled together. But Mike is, I think, really also the embodiment of what all of our veterans who returned have been. They are people who continue to give to the community, as Commissioner Sadi noted in his talk. Those are people who look at problems around, they look at issues that need to be solved, and they don't stand there and say somebody ought to do something. They simply roll up their sleeves, and they are the someone who does something. And they are what makes Waterbury such a great community, and Connecticut such a great state, and the United States of America such a great country for all of us to live in and will continue to do so for our families as we go forward. So I want to particularly thank Mike, who I'm very close to on the Board of Aldermen. We spend a lot of time together. He does a lot of work for the city. All of the veterans who have come back and contributed to Waterbury and to the state of Connecticut, thank you all for everything that you have done and that you continue to do. May God bless all of you, and may God bless the United States. Thank you.
How do you do, young Willie McBride? Do you mind if I sit here down by your graveside and rest for a while neath the warm summer sun? Been walking all day and I'm nearly done. I see by your gravestone you were only 19 when you joined the great fallen in 1916. Hope you died well, and I hope you died clean. Young Willie McBride, was it slow and obscene? Did they beat the drum slowly? Did they play the fife lowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? Did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? Did you leave any wife or a sweetheart behind? In some faithful heart is your memory enshrined, though you died back in 1916.
Several years ago, I would walk my dogs in New Pine Grove. I used to live near there, and I would train for my road races I was doing throughout the country. And I would run by this area there, and I thought they were pauper graves. And then then one day after I'm doing a cool down, I walked over, and I'm looking World War I, World War I, World War I. Then I looked back and I saw some of them in the bushes. So I said, no, this is unacceptable here. Something's got to be done. I ended seeing John was doing a stone in there. We said hello. And I said, geez, that's a pretty nice job on the restoration you're doing. So this was like 2 years ago. And he says, oh yeah. I said, listen, I want you to take a look at some of these World War I ones for me. What do you think? Walks over, he said, we can do these, no problem. I said, okay. Let's do them in the spring or in the summer. And then that's how I met John. And then we went over and he started doing them, and I said, boy, that looks good.
Oh yeah, this is going to clean up very nice. And I'm glad to see it's got some blue throughout it too, little veins of blue. It's a beautiful stone once it's clean. This, by the way, is the same mixture that they use at Arlington Cemetery, except I have a little additive of my own in there. Helps speed the process up a little. And that's a secret. Oh yeah. Gonna be nice. When I start my machine up, let it warm up a little. My mistake, this is not World War I, it's Civil War.
We can see it.
Wow.
We can read.
Might get sprayed. Let me scrub this side here for a little more. But as typical with most stones, you can't read the name or the war they were in until after it's been cleaned. And now you can clearly see that it was a Civil War, and his name was Edwin Adams. Now he won't be forgotten. We'll let that sit for a couple more minutes and see what happens. I just happened to look over and I see this World War I stone laying on the ground, a U.S. Navy man. Charles Grannon or something.
Well, we'll stand this one up then, I guess, right?
Yeah. We'll get our picture of us repairing the headstones besides just cleaning them. You know, which I take pleasure in doing, believe me. So glad I saw that.
Once I came here and saw it this morning, I couldn't believe it. And I again, Mr. Cipriano, Mr. Cochran, Mr. Dalton, the leadership of Mayor O'Leary, and again, thank you, Commissioner, for being here with us at this important event. We are very lucky. We are very fortunate to be in this country. And I would like to echo the mayor's word about unity. We talked about September 11th, but what I've been hearing, which is a positive note, is what happened in this country on September 12th, 2001. And that's when everybody turned to their fellow man and lent a helping hand. And that's where we are today, September 12th, 2021. And this is a symbol of veterans helping each other and us helping the veterans, because this is an important piece of history. This is an important part of the Waterbury fabric, and this is an important part of this country's history. And I do believe this is the most patriotic city in the country.
Senator Hartley.
Thank you very much. I just want to say how honored it is for me to be able to be here and to, with this delegation, to tip our hats to the Veterans Committee and Mike Dalton, who spearheaded this initiative so appropriately to help continue to endure the legacy of all of our veterans, our veterans who are no longer with us, and it bears witness to the city of Waterbury's incredible resolve in support of veterans issues, and to our commissioner, who I had the pleasure of watching him progress through the legislature to now the Commissioner of Veterans Affairs. We are in such good leadership stead with him at the helm, to our mayor and all of the colleagues on the Board of Aldermen, and to you, the citizens of the city of Waterbury, and most of all, the veterans and their families who help to keep the stories, the persona of the incredible people who serve our country. Mike Dalton, who is the epitome of that. Thank you, and to Jerry Reyes and Ron Napoli Jr., the Vice Chair of the Veterans Committee, and Representative D.G. Von Carlo. We are here to continue to support this legacy and this incredible work that you've done. Thank you.
For every veteran that's buried here, there was a mother, a Gold Star mother, that mourned them. These mothers are not able to be here today. And as a Gold Star mother representative, I want to take this moment to thank Mike, Dalton, and everybody who worked on this committee, not only for remembering, but also for caring. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael, and all your crew. Joe Nolan is a Gold Star father, and he would like to say a few words.
This work is impeccable. Thank you very much. Also, my daughter, Martha. My son, Joe, was killed in Iraq in 2004. And we are now in the process of having his remains moved from Old St. Joseph Cemetery in Waterbury to Arlington. Scott Griffith from Bergen's Funeral Home is assisting in that particular work. Joe died 17 years ago, and after visiting Arlington, there's a section down there called Section 60 for Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans. I think maybe it's time for my son to be there. We also have today Debbie Smith, came all the way from Florida. Her son, Tony DiAugustino, died in Iraq exactly a year before my son.
Yes, I came from Florida, and I came for Michael, and I came for the veterans that we'll never forget. My son did serve our country, and he sacrificed his life November 2nd, 2003. Michael told me about this event a couple of months ago and what he was doing. I was up here on the 2nd through the 7th of September. So I could have extended my stay, but I said, you know what? I'm going to come back because of Michael, because of everything that he stands for. He never forgets our soldiers. He never forgets the city of Waterbury, and he's always there. And he was there for me when my husband passed. So he's been a longtime friend, and I appreciate everything he's done, and I couldn't miss today to just be here for him as he is for all of us. Thank you.
We have one gentleman to my right, Clifton Saunders, whose brother was 3 weeks in Vietnam, a Marine, and was killed. He just wants to say a couple of words. Come on up.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to be here today. My name is Clifton Leroy Saunders. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran. I'm here to honor my brother Ernest Rawlings Saunders, PFC, from Vietnam. He died 3 weeks into Vietnam. I never knew that he had enlisted into the Marines. But you can understand how devastating it was to me when I heard the news. But with the grace of God and all the veterans that's been with me has gotten me through all this. I'm still going through a little bit of it inside me. My brother Ernest will always be with me. He's never gone. Just like all veterans, they're never gone. They're all here with me, because we stick together. That's what I like about us, being together and we do things together. That's how I like to thank Mike for doing what he did, because I almost started crying once I saw, excuse me, once I saw my brother's tomb. Oh boy. Sometimes it's hard for me to talk about my brother. He meant the world to me. We were always very close. I just wanted to say thank you and God bless everybody.
Right here, the person I was talking about, Ernest R. Saunders, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Marine Corps. Like a lot of us, he was 18 years old in Vietnam, and he was there 3 weeks, and he was killed. And I knew his brother lived in Waterbury, so I hunted him down, got him to come up, wanted him to stand here with his brother during the ceremony, and then he came up and spoke. And this is Ernest Saunders, and so we cleaned that up and we cut it and everything else, so we wanted to honor him.